All right. So welcome, guys, to our first ever online event for 2023. I hope you guys are excited. And it's been quite a 3 years of hectic life for all of us, I guess, with the pandemic. We've all been through a lot, and of course, the community has had some ups and downs. But we're going to be kicking start this year with back-to-back planning of events. So please look forward as well to our physical meetup coming up in Chennai. More details on that will be provided on our Slack channel. So if you're not already on our Slack, please do join. There's a link in the chat window. So please, go ahead, follow the steps and sign up. Coming to today's event, right? I think the topic of SEO is like big in all of our minds. And so we've decided to, look into who would be best to give us a good talk on it. And we reached out to Manikandan from Kissflow. And he's here with us today to help us, figure out how does structured data implementation, how to use schema markup, right? And other structured data to enhance search engine visibility and improve user experience. So let's welcome him today, and let's get this show started.
Thank you, Anita, and hello everyone. Very good evening, and thank you for your wonderful presence on this evening at the inaugural event organized by WordPress Community Chennai in 2023 for the very first time this year. And I'm happy to be a part of this community and wish them a great success going forward. I'm Manikandan N, a passionate SEO guy from Chennai. I handled SEO for several B2B and B2C websites since 2015. My ultimate goal in my life was to become the best SEO analyst in India. At least I'm trying my best to achieve the same every day. For the last couple of years, I've been associated with Kissflow. Kissflow is one of the great place to work culture kind of organization in India. So where SEO guys like us are given full freedom to experiment with different things for the mutual growth. So that's a short intro about myself. Let me directly take you to the today's session on how to implement structured data and master the same. Let me share my screen in a couple of minutes. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, Manikandan, go ahead.
Thank you. So this is our topic of today, mastering structured data for improved SEO. So at the end of this session, our key takeaways will be a clear understanding of what structured data is all about, why it is important, and how businesses or websites can make the most out of it. In addition to that, we'll be also discussing different types of structured data and which is the best format for any website, followed by real-world examples of successful structured data in Google Search. We'll also be discussing a bit about the challenges for SEO folks. Most of our SEO folks are not too technical, but that's where the implementation challenges may arise. Furthermore, today I'll walk you through the steps involved in implementing structured data, like how to select the right schema, how to test and validate the same, to confirm whether the code works or breaks before taking it to the developers. Additionally, we can also see some of the best practices to avoid mistakes during the structured data implementation. And in the later part, you can check some of the best resources available in the internet to master the same structured data. And at the end of this session, I'm happy to take your questions. So before I begin, I wish this session to be more engaging, and I really need your support to make this happen. Are you guys with me?
Yes, Manikandan.
Thank you. So here is a simple task for everyone in the group call. So are you able to identify the differences between these two entities? The Windows of Microsoft and the wooden window, Apple that we daily and the Apple brand.
Yes, I think everyone else can also use reactions to give a thumbs up for Manikandan. I'm seeing the thumbs up going up. 4, 6. Come on, guys, we're 20. Let's get it up all the way up. 9, 8. All right, good. Looks like we've all managed to give a thumbs up to that question. Manikandan, go ahead.
All right. So every one of us can make the understanding of differences between these two entities. Of course, thanks. But unfortunately, this is not the same case with search engines. They are not as smart as humans, for sure. So they need our support to make the understanding these nuances in the content. For example, papers will remain the same with respect to the text or spelling, but it has different meanings. Hence, we need to make sure we need to speak the language that search engines understand. That is called structured data. So in a nutshell, let's understand what is structured data is all about. A structured data is a standardized format that search engines can understand the context of a content. For example, if you're optimizing a product landing page, we can use structured data to tell Google about the product's pricing, rating, reviews kind of entities. The better the understanding of search engines, better the relevancy and accuracy of our results for users. In a nutshell, for developers, adding structured data involves extra piece of code in a web page HTML, but for SEOs, it can improve a click-through rate through rich snippets or enhanced search features kind of. Hence, I request both these subject matter experts, SEO and developers to go hand in hand for mutual benefits. I hope most of the organization will follow the same. All right, moving forward, now it's time to know the benefits it offers for websites and businesses. So when you are implementing a structured data for any website, say, the more detailed information about the content that we give to search engines, webmaster can improve the overall visibility of their content in search engines. It helps user to get a complete better understanding of what the page is about even before they click it. For example, the user might know the ratings and reviews of a particular product, or they can know the pricing of products even before they click. This move not only improves user experience, but also reduces the bounce rate. Of course, rich snippets. Who doesn't love rich snippets? I hope everybody loves rich snippets, isn't it? Guys, are you with me? Can make some reactions.
Sorry, Manikandan, your voice is slightly breaking up for us.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, like who doesn't love rich results in Google? Rich results or extra piece of content appear in apart from the ordinary thing, like the rating schema, product pricing, events details, kind of. I hope everybody likes. Yeah, because this is the way one of the way to easily attract organic clicks and improved CTR. Not at the least, the internet is for all. User with disability should also get the same information as others. Are you guys agreeing with this?
Can we have some reactions, some thumbs ups, some hearts?
For example, user with visual impairment, user with personal disabilities should also access our website as compared to the others. Are you guys agree with this?
Can we give a thumbs up? Yes. All right. Yep, you're getting a couple of thumbs ups, Manikandan.
All right. This is primarily because, for example, if you're optimizing an event website, say, using structured data, you can help search engines understand event location, time, accessibility features. This is particularly helpful for people with disabilities to plan ahead of for things like parking, wheelchair accessibility, sign language interpretation, kind of. And in the other end, while structured data implementation on a product page, such as that tells about color, size, weight of a material, people with visual impairments can also be very confident and make informed purchases through voice or virtual assistant devices, all thanks to the speakable markup. So by thus implementing a structured data markup on your website, you can improve the user experience for everyone regardless of their abilities or disabilities. Moving on to the introduction of schema.org. Schema.org is a vocabulary developed jointly by tech giants like Microsoft, Google, Yandex, and Yahoo in the month of June 2011. It's been there in the industry for almost a decade of service. According to the statistics, over 10 millions of websites uses schema.org codes with different encoding, including RDFA, microdata, and JSON LD kind of languages. On the right, you're seeing live output of organization schema implemented for Kissflow, where you can see organization category, the official logo, the official website, parent organization founded here, along with the social profiles. So this way you can have more um, easy way to help people to know about your company even before coming to your particular website. Are you guys following me here up to here?
Yes, Manikandan.
All right. So let us see the different types of structured data formats available for implementation. Totally, there are three different types of formats available. First is microdata. Microdata uses HTML tags to define the schema types and properties. That is well supported by WordPress, Joomla, and Drupal kind of CMSs. And the implementation process is very simple. Even the beginners can do it with a basic knowledge of HTML. The next part is RDFA. RDF is defined as a resource description framework in attributes. This technology uses HTML5 tags to define schema and properties. It is well used by e-commerce sites like Shopify, Magento, and WordPress too. But the thing is, the difficulty level for implementation in this type of structured data is extremely technical, and only the developers can do it, or anybody who have better understanding of technical knowledge can do this. Finally, the JavaScript object notation for data, simply called JSON LD. This uses JSON format and embedded directly into HTML content, or it can be referenced from a separate file as well. So the advantage here is the JSON LD format can be used across any format, any CMS that supports JavaScript. That's the basic requirement. If CMS supports JavaScript, you can directly implement the JSON LD format of structured data. Another advantage of having here is the implementation level is very easy and powerful. You can scale, implement in a scale using the JSON LD format. Of course, and of all of these formats, JSON LD is generally considered as the most popular and recommended format for adding structured data to any website because of its flexibility and ease of implementation. In fact, Google also recommends the same, as JSON have the least probability of breaking your existing codes. All right, and now let us see what are the different types of schema codes that are supported by Google search engines. Though there are n number of schemas available, or I must say, we can find any schema for any entity in the world at the schema.org website. However, Google supports only a handful of schema codes for its search enhancements. On the right, you can see there are 8 categories that Google supports here that comes under news, education and science, sports, job, organization, e-commerce, food and drink, and the last is employment. So in comparison of 8 categories, you can find 32 entities. So these are some of the common entities that Google supports. So now it's time to see some of the real-time example of what is schema, how it come in Google Sub. On the right top, you are seeing the product schema implementation, where you can see there is a rating of 4.3 out of the 5,000 words. There is a basic price of $15, and you can see the category, the software, the business and productivity category kind of. On the next, there is a event schema. So event schema, you can see the date of the event and the name of the event as well. This will inform the user what are the like when the event is going to happen, and they can plan for it. And Finally, there is a FAQ. This is one of the personal favorites for any SaaS SEO guys because it has a handful of benefits. With two extra questions, you can see here. With the two extra questions within Google Search, Webmaster can add value to the content and encourage visitor to click for more information. So now I believe most of you have an idea about the benefits of implementing schema for any website. Am I?
Yes.
All right. Let's move on to the steps to implement structured data for any website. So to begin with, we need to identify the content that would benefit from structured data markup. For example, we need to identify what are the pages that we need to start implementing the structured data. For example, it should be an events page, it can be a product page, or it can be an articles page kind of. Then the next step is to choose the right market format. For example, you can choose JSON LD, RDFE, or microdata. You can choose the best format that is compatible with your CMS. You don't need to be choose only the JSON LD as Google recommends it, but you need to make sure that it needs to be supported within your CMS. After selecting the right markup, now you need to choose the schema type. Which schema type that Google is supporting. Like you need to try for articles, product schema, event schema, rating, FAQ, and more. Once you're selecting the right schema, you need to get the piece of code. Once the piece of code is given, you need to test and validate through the validator schema or through Google's rich result test page. Once you have implemented all of this, you need to make sure to monitor the performance of structured data. For example, how it performs in your using your Google Search Console, whether the CTR for particular is increased or not, kind of. And finally, you need to make sure your markup and contents are up to date for sure, because outdated is what's it, if your schema is outdated, it won't reflect in Google. All right, so let's see some of the challenges in implementation. This is especially for the SEO guys. For example, if you don't have a knowledge of how to implement structured data or how JSON code or HTML code works, there are some plugins like Rank Math SEO, where you can simply click what schema does you want to, and it will generate your schema code. But unfortunately, for to make this happen, you need a pro version of the SEO plugins to automate or add multiple schemas or even to validate. But not many of us will have the luxury of having the pro version subscription for the SEO plugins. That's why we are more dependent on developers to take this job. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's the end of the theory part. Now we are here to implementing the structured data using a live demo, so that from now on, at least people with less experience or people who don't have coding knowledge can also be able to make implement the structured data on their website without much dependence from the developers. Let me walk through how I implement event data for this webinar page. The things that we need is a live URL where the event structured data can be implemented, and error-free code is must. And finally, we need a testing or validation. So this is one of our upcoming webinar page. As of now, there is no events schema added for this page. Let me. Step one, Google search for Google Search Gallery. Guys, please follow the steps closely so that you can add your structured data without the help of developers. So once you're done a Google search for Google search gallery, land on this structured data markup page. On the right, on the left, you can see an event schema, right? Just click on it. This is a detailed introduction to event schema, and would have given a clear understanding of how to implement, what is the benefit, all of this. Just scroll down, you will able to see a piece of code here. Just copy it. On the right, you can see the copy code sample. Open validated.schema.org. Just paste your code here. Click run test. Make sure you remove your title and head body tags. The same at the bottom as well. So this is the piece of code that will give a event schema for Google to understand what the event is all about. So we have the URL. So our event starts at on 29 March 2023 at 11 a.m. to 12. March year, March date. Just go change the year date. Starts at 11 and insert 12. So this is an offline event, the attendance mode. Where it takes place, let's assume it takes place at Kissflow Auditorium. What is the postal address? Let's say Kissflow contact. Here it is. So we need to add the address, the postal address it is. Some in West Street. West Street. Address locality is Manikandan. Postal code is 1901980. It is Delaware, US. And you need to add the image for the particular event. Let me assume this as the image URL for this particular event. I'm changing it. I keep one URL for this to the image. All right, what is the description? Every event will have a description. The description says transform your understanding of development. And that's same here. As of now, we don't have any offer, but if you want to add offer details, let's say put 100 offer valid before the registration. Who is performing group? Who is the speaker here? The speakers are, I assume, Gordon Jackson is our speaker for the event. Change the same here. The organization is, of course, Kissflow. This is the official website of Kissflow. So that is all. Now we have the piece of code that we can implement on events page. So validate the code, that's step 3. Now you can see an uncategorized error here. While you click here, it will show exactly where the error happened. It says in the line, but actually the line error is here. Revalidate the result. There is no errors and no warnings. It is good to go in the live. Now open your CMS on the edit page. I'm using HubSpot, and you guys can use your WordPress backend as well. I mean the visual editor area. Go to the settings. Under the advanced option, we have a separate field to add in the footer HTML. I've added here. Just update the same.
Manikandan, one question from Premnath. Is the title not changed, Kekranga?
No, it is the type is event only.
Okay. I hope that
Okay.
answers Premnath's question. I will wait for him to respond on chat.
All right.
Name. நிறைய பேர் கேக்குறாங்க. Name.
Oh yeah, the name has to be changed.
Yeah.
No code.
Thanks, Selvakumar Premnath, for bringing that up.
Let me update the same. So now we have updated the schema for this webinar. Let's check whether rich result is eligible for this or not. Open test rich results from Google search. Paste the URL. Select which device you want to start with. Crawler. I'll go with Google Desktop. This might take a minute or two, usually. Waiting. All right. Now we have to added the event schema, and it is eligible in the Google sub. You need to get add your any schema that you want to add. So as some of the guys intimated through the chat, this is the reason why the manual kind of activities may cause some errors. So that's why ChatGPT is a good asset for us to make the most of it. Are you guys able to see the ChatGPT screen?
Yes, Mani.
Yeah. So in the ChatGPT, if you give a prompt like give me a event schema, or I've added event name as online virtual event. The date is 21st March, location Chennai, and given an address of Nambabakam Street, and it's a sample example URL. And this is an offline event, and the ticket offer price starts at 1,000. That's it. Obviously, you guys should have known that ChatGPT will give a perfect answer for this. Well, it has given the description on itself. There's added the image. All right, you have to just copy paste and copy paste the code in your backend CMS, the code will work. So that's how you can add your structured data. But if you want to add schema there, schema.org in scale, there are several apps. Schema.app is one of the paid tool where you can add n number of schemas in a JFA. All right, guys. I hope you might have got a live demo how to implement structured data from scratch. Are you?
Yes, a lot of activity on the chat, which means a lot of people saying that, good demo. You said something about a paid tool as well. So if
Yeah,
maybe,
I'm coming there.
yeah.
So after there are some best practices that you need to follow to avoid errors in the schema, as some of the guys pointed out. And the manual, while doing manual, you can definitely expect that. So always follow the official guidelines that Google or the schema.org gives, because once you follow the official guidelines, there won't be any problem during the migration or algorithm updates kind of. Always test your markup before pushing it live, as how we did in the validated.schema.org and rich result test. We need to make sure test your markup before pushing it live. And definitely don't overuse your structured data like FAQ and QO schema on the same page. This will this is not the best practice because Google might confuse which schema to consider for ranking kind of. Also use relevant schema type only, and only if necessary use the schema. Don't use schema that because you have an opportunity kind of. Only make sure if it is necessary, use it on the right and relevant page. And not but not the least, keep your markup up to date. I mean, adjust your content as per the freshness requirement. For example, if you're optimizing a event schema on an events page, make sure you're updating the events, upcoming events regularly. And finally, use a consistent format. When I say consistent format, you can use JSON or DFA or microdata, whatever your CMS supports, but don't mix and match between JSON and other formats. So by following these best practices, I ensure that your structured data will be accurate, relevant, and compliant with search engine guidelines as well.
Mani,
So here, yep.
a few questions coming in from the chat. Sorry
Mhm.
to jump in. Can you show that on the front end, means in search engine, or will it take some time to reflect? Another one, Selva Kumar is asking, could you show the schema on view page source?
All right. So we have implemented schema on this page. So this is the live URL now. Here it is. So this is the the event schema that we have added on our live.
Right.
So
And
this is the advantage of using the JSON. It won't have any impact on your existing code. That's why Google recommends the same.
and
What's the next question
can we
about?
see the front end of it, or does it take time to reflect?
It definitely takes time to reflect. One more thing, there is no guarantee that I have implemented structured data today. Google has to show tomorrow. There is no
Right.
guarantee. It is up to Google to decide. We are optimizing the relevant schema for the Google to understand. It is up to Google to say the same. For example, it is what is the flow? Here, you can see a product schema rating schema implementation here, as well as the FAQ. But it is not 100%. It is not guaranteed that 100% of the time Google will show the same.
Right.
All right.
Got it.
Yeah. So we have implemented schema. So that's why for you need to plan when to implement schema and why. So if you're having events coming up in the week or two, you need to implement schema at least a week before, so that it will come up in the Google search. there is a high probability. Are we good to go to the next slide?
Yes, Mani, go ahead.
All right. Finally, here are some of the resources that are available the best in the industry. Let's start with case studies. Case studies on structured data implementation by Google. You can have n number of brands, how they have implemented structured data, what are the benefits they have got in real time, how much percentage of CTR have improved, all of this. Google Search Gallery, this the thing that I showed earlier. You can check out this page to see what are the supported structured data formats from Google. If you have any doubt on any events or any schema that you want to implement, just click here. You will get a detailed view from the introduction to how to implement all of this. You just have to change your content here. For example, the question and answer, that's it. And ChatGPT solves this problem even better. And schema.validator validator is a tool that we have run to check whether the code is working fine or not. Its result is the same. That's from Google. Code Labs for developers. This is advanced. This is a tool where yeah. If you want to have more play around the structured data, developers can use this codelabs.developers. So then, and this is the site I'm talking about implementing the schema in a large scale. Schema app gives a variety of schema to be implemented in a scale, and it's a paid tool for sure. We don't know the exact price of it. We need to get a custom code to know the pricing of this. But according to their case studies, they have been doing a lot of good things for the enterprise customers. So if any of you guys are using enterprise website, optimizing enterprise websites, you can definitely. And while seeing the case studies, see right from Vimeo to several case studies like Job Rapido, they're using job posting markup. Many of the Monster or Naukri kind of websites are using the job posting markup for their improved visibility in Google search. All right, guys, now we are towards the end of this presentation, and I hope you might have get a good clarity of what is structured data is all about, how to begin with, what are the areas you need to cover, how to test and validate before running the code, and how to implement using ChatGPT as well. That's it about the presentation, and I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you so much, Manikandan, for an amazing session today. I think we've got around 20 minutes to do a quick Q&A round. I hope you're ready for it. If any of you have further questions, please do drop them in the chat. We've already got one question that I've taken note of before we started. This came from Selvakumar Duraipandian. He asked, is there any benefit on ranking or authority based on the difficulty level of structured data and SERP?
All right, Salva, thanks for the wonderful question. As I said earlier, schema.org codes are one of the way to make Google to understand the context of the content only. There is no direct benefit you can get from the schema.org adding a schema. But once people are starting to notice extra content, for example, you can say while adding a FAQ content, there are two additional extra space you get in the search, which is not available for many other sites. So from that content, you can add extra value to the user who are visiting, so that over a period of time, our CTR will be improved. So once the CTR is getting improved, Google might think it is one of the ranking factor and push our website to the top or position higher than the current positions. So there is no direct benefit, but indirectly it helps for sure.
Manikandan, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. We have another question coming in from Rajan Vijayan. He
Mhm.
asked, is it possible to put more than one schema in a single page?
Of course, there is no doubt you can add a multiple schema on a page, but it is to be relevant. Let me share my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
So even in this example, the rating product schema is a different schema, and this is an FAQ schema. I'll show you how it is come in the backend. Yeah, can you guys see screen? Here we have implemented the software application schema, where it says the rating, review, price, offer, all of this. And at the below, we have added FAQ. And in the Google, both of these have been displayed. You can add multiple schemas, but you should not mix and match. For example, for a frequently asked question section, you should not add QA and FAQ at the same time. So this might cause confusion, but apart from that, you can have multiple schemas for sure.
All right. Mani, we've got a third question come in.
Mhm.
The question is from Santanam. Which plugin do you recommend to implement on WordPress sites?
Right. In so our primary understanding of this session is not to depend on any plugin, because adding a plugin will definitely add space, and it has its own impact in
Right.
all of this. But if you definitely want, of course, a rank math itself will have, but you need to have a pro version subscription, as I said earlier. Any SEO plugin will have the schema implementation option.
Thanks, Mani, for that. We've got another question come in from Mohammad Azharuddin. He
Mhm.
asked, every page needs to be added to the organization schema.
All right. This is one of the gray area that we need to understand. Like uh, most people say, believe that every page needs organization schema, because on every page will be have the organization schema will be added in the header. But there are some guys who are argue that it needs to be added only on the contact us, about us page. So it's a gray area, and I don't uh, took any side of it.
I hope that answers the question uh, to Mohammed. If there's any follow-up, Mohammed, please, ping us back on chat. The next question that came in, is there a good source for ratings?
I'm sorry, what is
I'm not sure either. It says, is there a source for rating?
source for rating? Oh yeah, you guys are referring to the 4.3 out of 500 words, right?
Yes,
Of
I
course, we use Software Suggest, G2, all of these rating review sites. So we take the review counts from there. I'm happy to share that as well. G2 reviews, Kissflow. Can you guys see here? We have 502 reviews here, out of which 4.3. So this is the rating because most of the people who optimizes for local businesses use Google reviews as their trusted source. But any of the you need to have at least one source to give credits to it. So if it is validate and has authenticity, you definitely you can use any of the resources. So we use G2.
All right. Are there any other questions? Folks, please type into the chat. We've still got 10, 12 minutes.
I think one of our guys like Hilson asked about the alignment came because of schema or anything else. No, it is not because of schema code. It is based on the popularity of URL. It's basically a site links.
Is there any other questions, folks? I see another question just come in from Santanam. You added the schema code on footer. It will reflect on the pages. Is there any options to add on the particular pages?
Yeah, I've added the on the particular page only, but on the footer just before closing the body. The code is added on the exact page. Santanam.
Okay. All right. I don't see any other questions coming in. Does anyone else have any questions? Please quickly type it into the chat window. We can hold for 2 minutes until it turns to 5:50, and then we can have a quick feedback round. Okay, Premnath asked a question. Can we add it to body tag?
Can we add it on body tag? Yeah, like we need to make sure the piece of the code that we add should be before the closing the body. So you can add at the beginning or you can add at the end. It doesn't matter where you add.
Right.
But make sure it doesn't affect your existing codes.
Right. He's mentioned also this is because most WordPress sites had the same footer.
All right.
Yeah. There's a question from Rose Amali. What about adding schema for star rating the products?
Yeah, it is the software product schema. I'll share here. I'll share my screen. Are you referring to this particular code? Was that the one who asked?
Rose asked the question. So, Rose, can you respond back?
Oh yeah, she said is yeah. So here you have the aggregated rating schema. So you can add the piece of code here. You don't need to be have all of this existing. You can just add the aggregated rating as well. Just this piece of code will help. But please don't add the rating count as you wish because if that doesn't have any credibility, there is no use of it. people might easily find it out is spam kind of activities. All right.
Premnath is asking, a review schema is available, right? Is that a question? I'm not sure. Premnath, can you clarify what it is that you're trying to ask? Oh, answer for Rose. All right. Okay. There aren't any other new questions. All right. Well, we've got 8 more minutes on this call. Manikandan, do you have any other last few words to share on this topic?
On this topic, yeah, as we have covered about all the basics that one should know before implementing the structured data, we need to have a proper plan before executing any of these activities. As Silva asked a question, like guys don't have to try this just in order to improve their ranking because it won't work. But if you want to try A/B testing of how it performs different along with schema or without schema, how the rich snippets are performing. So you can definitely have it right. In the Google Search Console, you can see search appearance under the performance. You can see search appearance where you can able to see the difference between before and after how the content after the implementation of structured data, all of these items. So have a proper plan and do well without any errors in the code. Uh, make sure you try yourself before having get in touch with the developer, because in the future everybody needs to be a citizen developer for sure. It is the need of our everybody needs to know at least the basics of HTML or basics of JavaScript. Going forward, only the on-page, off-page kind of things won't help in the long sustainability in the SEO. You need to have a strong understanding of technical SEO as well. So start learning the basics of coding or use ChatGPT.
Manikandan, one more question has come through from Vijayan.
Mhm.
What is the best approach to use structured data in modern front-end framework-based projects? Because each part of the page tailored together on the fly.
I'm real honestly sorry, I don't get exact idea of the question.
Okay. Another question.
Modern front-end framework.
Hmm.
Oh, here is Selva.
Do you have any suggestions, Mani?
For new product, I don't have any reviews, kind of, for that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just avoid the reviews only. You can add the price, offer price you have. Just go with it for the initial times, and over the period of time, try to get the reviews from your clients. Or as you, most of the SEO guys know the update in the product review site update. So your product is reviewed by genuine people, only those who have purchased or used it. So don't use false reviews kind of.
Selva Kumar has asked another question. Does the schema have to be on the header or in footer or anywhere in the page?
It should be anywhere on the page, but before closing the body tag.
He says that I heard that there are some schemas that have to be in header.
Because organization schema to be in the header section, but see, Google as a crawler, you need a piece of code or that can be found on your website. Can be in the header, it can be in the footer, but anything that talks about the subject, it should be in the body section.
All right. I think we can wrap up Q&A. If anyone else has further questions, be sure to tag us and use the hashtag ask to money. As Rajan has mentioned on the chat, and I'm sure we'll get back to you with some answers. I just want to do a quick feedback session. If everyone can jump onto the chat window, please just give us a thumbs up if you like the session. Give us a thumbs down if you didn't like the session or it wasn't as useful as you'd hoped it would be. Honest feedback is always good because this is just our first online event, and Manikandan might be back again in the future as well with more such SEO useful information for us. So, also please share topics of interest so that we can prioritize what could be coming up in the future. So yeah, go ahead, give us your thumbs up or your thumbs down, and please share some topics that you'd like to see in the upcoming events. All right. A lot of thumbs up for you, Manikandan.
Thank you so much, guys. And it's my kind request if all of us can try your best to turn on your video so that we can have a screenshot of it and share in LinkedIn. Definitely. So that in the future people with similar interest can have come to our meetup regularly.
Yes, I think this was the first session. So like a lot of people, have already jumped in. It's great to see the community, still kicking and thriving. And so it's only going to get better from here, right? So a lot of thumbs up. I don't see any thumbs down. So that was a good first session of the year, Manikandan. Thanks for getting us started.
Thank you so much, Vanita.
And we look forward to a round 2 of your, your knowledge share with us. And yeah.
Anytime.
So we've still got 2 minutes. I think let's just all give a good big thanks to Manikandan for taking this on and giving us such a great session, well thought out, quite easy to digest even for those of us who may not be directly on the development side. So it was great to see what it takes to get certain things done on the data structured implementation side of things, the SEO side of it. And that it's actually quite simple, and it's something that anyone could learn to do without too much of background knowledge, which is great to know because I'm not from the technical side. So I was a little bit scared coming into this as to how much of a value would I be able to get from it, but you've given a great session, so I appreciate it. And yes, I hope everyone's switching on, he wants to switch on the video. Rajan, can we do that for the picture? Can you give me
Kumar?
Hold on. 1 second.
Sure, Vanita, we can do.
All right. Okay, everybody, please start your video, at least, or those of you all who are comfortable having your image on this, please go ahead and Rajan, can I leave the photo grabbing to you?
Sure, Vanita, sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for your efforts. It will inspire many others in the future.
All right. All right, we have come to the end of the session. It's right on dot 6 o'clock. So that was a successful session to have been able to start on time and end on time. And I want to thank Manikandan for, staying on course and making sure that we were able to get this first event off to a great start and conclude on a high note. And yeah, thank you for everyone else who's joined. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, Mani.
Thanks for the opportunity, Vanita. Thank you, WPChennai team.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys.